Welcome back to Your Scale Modelling. This is part 6 of the DeAgostini Star Wars Millennium Falcon build, approximately 1/72 scale. In part 6 I'll be working through issues 14 to 17, and these issues I'll be dealing with for the back wall, the remaining wall of the interior part that I built in the previous issue, and the corridor leading away from this. So let's jump in and see how I get on. Okay, starting off with issue 14. And issue 14, I'm mostly building the back wall for the remaining wall. It's a simple build of this one. The first thing to do is put in the door frame. Because this sort of bends inwards, I'm going to have to put a couple of clamps, just the centre, or just one clamp in the centre, just to push it out, to make sure that the frame is going to be touching and secure on the actual wall itself. And then it's the archway, and this is made up exactly like the very first one. All the little, they call them cushion parts, I'm not sure what they are, but it's the ridges that go around the archway. So they get placed on the inner part first before going into the outer ring. Now the instructions say do this once the outer ring's in place, but I find it easier to build it up before placing the whole unit inside the wall. And once that's in, I can look at placing it in. Now the two circular location points that hold the main pipes, I've actually taken them off because there was too much jiggling around trying to get the pipes to fit into them. So it was either just to take them off and fit against the main wall. And once the wall was on, it was just a matter of screwing it into place. So that makes the first part of the interior almost done, so you can see everything in situ there. On to issue 15, and as you will make out on the diagram here, I'm building more of the framework. This is a large part of the build, so the frame is getting built in section as I go along. And the first job is to make up the ribs, that's the support beams that run down the frame. Then I can look at fitting the other panels into place. And at the end it's just a matter of tightening everything up, making sure everything is in place. So you can see the frame start to take shape. And now it's on to issue 16. And on this issue I'm building the corridor that links the cockpit to the main hull of the ship. So the first thing to do is place the floor panel inside the outer hull of the corridor. And that's secured together with more screws. And it says to make up 3 separate bulkhead arches, and the same process all as before. So there's a lot of repeating of the processes of each individual unit. Once they're made, I'll just check them to fit. There's a lot of location points on these, and depending on how you put your arch will dictate the position of the top of the bulkhead for the corridor. So it's quite important to get them in the right position. So I don't want to glue these in just yet. I did forget to apply a wash, so I'm using Umbro's dark grey wash here for the panel lines initially. So I'm just putting a bead down each seam, and the capillary action will draw it down each groove down the panel lines. If I do get any excess, I'll just wipe it off. I'm not worried about smears because I want this corridor to look used and dirty. I'm now using Tamiya's Wither Master C and the gunmetal component to go over the lines to give it that smudged, grained in dirt look. And I'm applying this quite loosely. I don't want sharp, crisp lines here. I want it to be smudged and out of balance as such, just to give it that used dirt look. And then once that's done, I'll go test fit the rings again. Still not putting them in place. That's not going to happen until I put the top on. And then it's back to the framework, and there's just one single piece I'm placing in for this one. And now I'm going on to issue 17. And issue 17 is mostly putting the top part on the corridor that I built up in issue 16. The walls of these corridors do have light padding or sections running through, so these have to be placed on first. Each one will only fit a certain way, So I'm having to do each one singly at a time, just to make sure I am not getting them in the wrong location. Some of them are easier to fit than others, like this one. This is quite an easy one to fit. It's self-explanatory, it goes in its location points without any problems. Again, with the bottom part, it's just a little strip, it goes right at the top, and this helps connect the upper half of the corridor as well. The smaller sections I actually found quite tricky to put in. This was mostly because I left the arches in. I decided to leave the arches in while fitting these parts, so I knew I wouldn't encroach on their line. I didn't want to have them in permanently, then realise that my archie wouldn't fit, hence why I left them in there. I think they could have had a better design here on this part. Like the other parts, this one does lay up over the joint to help you with the connections, I suppose, but it makes it extremely difficult. With these parts jutting up over the rim, you're never quite sure if you got them in the exact position that needs be before you put on the top piece. Even though the location points are there, they will tend to slip, but you don't want to secure them firmly because you may have to adjust them. So it's a catch-22 situation. And now the two sections are done, it's time to place the top on. Now this is only a dry fitting process. These are not going to be permanently joined. I assume there's other parts to be fitted to it down the line. There is a little locking collar that I can place on to get this all joined up. But at the moment I find it quite difficult for these ends to meet. So I'm going to have to play around with this to make sure I've got everything in the exact location. So I'm going to end part 6 here. I need time to figure this out, so that's probably a good place to end. So if you haven't done so already, why don't you check out the channel for my other builds. If you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell, you'll be notified of all my upcoming builds, including for this one. Hit that like button and leave a comment. And don't forget to share the video. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.